Now we're going to do the Cinema 4D comp. We're going to go to Composition Settings. We're going to go to the 3D Renderer tab. We're going to change this to Cinema 4D. You can see that now we have enabled extruded and beveled text and shapes, reflections, curved footage layers, material overrides on text shape bevels and sides, environment layers in reflections only, and pre-comp depth pass with channel effects. So the most important part here is the extruded and beveled text and shapes, the curved footage layers, the environment layers. These are all important things to know, okay? But some things don't work. Blending modes don't work, track mets don't work, layer styles don't work. Masks and effects on continuously rasterized layers, text and shape layers, and collapsed 3D pre-composition layers. So some of the effects will work on 3D layers, some of them will not. We don't have the higher end transparency and index refraction, which would have been nice, or accept shadows only, which is kind of nice when you can turn off a layer and have a shadow, but that doesn't work. So, but you know, life is like that. So we've got it changed to the correct renderer, Command S. At the bottom of the composition window, set the resolution downsample factor to 1/3. In fact, I think I'll go to half. I think half it'll do it. Select the ocean layer. We're going to Command D and duplicate the layer. We're going to right-click on one of the layers and turn it into a environment layer. I'm going to save, Command S. I'm going to select the name layer, and I'm going to press AA. That brings up the 3D options for the layer. Now I want to have a bevel style, so I'm going to set bevel for convex, bevel 2, hold depth 100%, extrusion depth. I'm going to extrude it 20. Okay, so now our name has suddenly become thicker. I'm going to set up the material options. Cast shadows on, accept shadows on, accepts lights on, appears and reflections on. We want to have ambient 100%, diffuse 50, but we're going to change the specular intensity to 100%. We're going to change the specular shininess to 100%. We're going to turn metal down to 20. We want the reflection intensity to be 100%. And leave the reflection sharpness and reflection roll off 0, Command save. And now you see that you're reflecting. Now this is why we have an environment layer, because it reflects what it sees in front of it. So it can't reflect the image behind it. But if you have changed that into a environment layer, it's wrapping around, and now it's reflecting what is in front of it. Command S. And now we're going to fly down the triangle for fly it up and then fly it down again. So we're going to move it. We're going to go to text. We're going to animate. We're going to animate position. And we're going to add a rotation to it. So position and add rotation. We're going to set the position. Once again, it's going to be 0, 0, 0, and negative 1600. so it's very close to the viewer. And doesn't that look sharp with the bevel and everything? Oh, I love it. And now we're going to set the rotations so that it will rotate one time in each of the coordinates. Command save. And we're going to get the range selector, start at 0, and then go to 4 seconds and have that be 100%. And command save that. Go back to the beginning. And now we'll look at the 2 views, because now it'll work. Now you'll be able to see it. Okay, I'm going to press the space bar. Or maybe not. In theory, you should be able to see it. I think if I stop it in the middle, it'll show up. Yeah. So it won't update it until it's active. So, but you can stop it at any time and see where it is in the middle. Okay, I crashed it, but I had already saved. It should be fine. And I'm not going to send them out anyway. Okay, open project. This one should be fine. Well, I saved it as untitled project. Here it is. It should be fine. So sometimes it'll crash. That's why you have to save frequently. So saving again. And now if I want to, I can add a selector for wiggly. And I'm going to go under the wiggly selector, and I want the minimum amount. Let's see. I'm going to have to check to see what the minimum amount does. So if I have the minimum amount set for 100%, let's zoom out here. So if the minimum amount is set for 100%, yeah, it goes way behind there. So at this point, so I want to set the minimum amount for -20% perhaps. Yeah. And get a little bit more. See how that works. Yeah, you want to make sure it doesn't go behind everything. So that's what the settings do there. You want to make sure it doesn't go behind the back wall, the part that you want to be the back wall. So I'm going to say set it for -29%, fit. And if I set it for full, then you'll see why I had you set it for a lower number before, because it takes forever to render. But doesn't it look pretty? So you don't need to put on a wiggly selector. That's only if you prefer that, only if you like that. Okay, make sure you save. You want to make sure that you name your file with your name so you will have everything where you know what it is.